Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is this encapsulated autumn fall leaf nail set. So I am starting off by removing my previous set, and I actually did a watch me work on this nail set as well, these autumn butterflies, so you can check that out on my channel if you're interested. But it was time to remove these. I love autumn. It is my favorite season, and I want to wear as many autumn-y inspired nail sets as I can on my hands. Sometimes I don't always have the time to, do my nails multiple times and very frequently if I'm too busy. But these nails were just over 2 weeks old, and although I could have gotten maybe another week out of it, I really didn't want to. I was ready to move on to my next set, and although I really love these nails, they were super, super cute, and I really did enjoy them. They made me really happy. I was ready to move on to something new. I wanted some sparkle. This was a matte, like a full matte nail set, and while I loved it, and I don't always do full matte on myself, it was, different, but I was ready for some sparkle and glitter. I do always love glitter and sparkles. I really, really love that, and I was ready to have that on my hands. So I'm going in now with an arbor band on my e-file, and I'm just going to smooth out my nails here. I'm actually bringing them down quite low because this is going to be an encapsulated nail set. The clear encapsulation layer that I'm going to be putting on top of everything is going to be the structure and the apex and the strength of the whole nail. So I want to bring down the extension, the nail extension, as low as possible and make it quite thin. So that we don't add too much bulk. Usually when I'm building my nails and doing a structured set like this, I usually put the apex in the actual extension itself over here on these nails that you are seeing now. And then I do all of my design on top. But with an encapsulated nail set, you usually have quite a thick layer of clear gel going over the whole design to encase all of the stuff that you're putting on your nails, and it ends up being quite thick. So to prevent the nail getting way too thick and having too much bulkiness anywhere, I'm bringing this down quite low. So now I'm just going to clean up the cuticles with a small little bit over here and going to push them back as much as possible, and then I'm going to move into just adding a bit of hard gel in near the cuticle area to create a fill. And again, I'm going to keep this very thin. I am planning on doing a video on how I prep and build my nails. So if you're interested in seeing that, how I build my structured nails from scratch using hard gel and nail forms, then stay tuned for that. I'm going to be having that come very soon. This bit over here has actually become one of my favorites. It's this tiny little diamond ball pit, ball head, and it was actually really great. It's very gentle, and it helps remove like any skin and dead skin and extra stuff around the nails. It's very gentle. So like I said before, I'm going to do a fill over here with some hard gel. This is from Morovan, and I'm doing a very thin layer. I'm not building any structure. Like I said, I'm really just adding a tiny bit of kind of like the amount that I would do for a slip layer if I was going to build a whole nail, but I'm going to cure that fully and going to give everything a wipe with some alcohol before going in to file it and make it as smooth as possible, because this is going to be the base that everything's going to go on top of. Gel polish, all of my glitters and everything, so I want the nails to be as smooth as possible. And I'm also perfecting the shape, because as you start adding glitter and leaves and then put a structure layer over that, the shape of the nail can sometimes get kind of like warped very drastically when you start putting a lot of things on it. So I try to get the shape of my nail as perfect as possible. I don't go too crazy because I know that once I start adding things, it is going to get a little messed up anyway. So I don't go too crazy and I don't make myself nuts trying to like make it perfect, but I try to get it very close to perfect so that I have minimal filing to do at the end, because with encapsulated nails you are going to end up doing filing. It's just the name of the game with that style nail. Unless you are like an absolute amazing wizard pro at like doing gels and stuff, you will have to do some filing afterwards. So to create, the easiest amount and less amount of filing as possible. So now I'm going in with this solid gel from Vettsy, and this color is stunning. I love it. I love mauve. I think it's such a cool color, and it's a great color for this time in between summer and autumn. It's not really officially autumn just yet, but in my brain it is. In my brain, autumn starts on September 1st. Now, this is actually going to be just a base layer for a cat eye gel that I'm going to put on top. So I am not actually going to be doing 2 layers. Normally I would. You can see it's going on a bit sheer, and there are some spots where you can kind of see shadowing, and normally I would go in with 2 layers, but because this is just a base and I'm going to be putting a full-on cat eye gel on top, this one here from Koko Claire, it's the shade Tangy Tangerine. I thought the colors matched really well. They kind of looked really similar, so I'm going to put this on top and just playing around with the magnet effect over here. I'll be honest, I didn't get into the magnet hype the way I feel like the internet has. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like the effect that cat eyes give is just not as astounding, maybe in person, as it seems when you have like perfect lighting and things. Here I'm just playing around with some different shapes, different magnets and things. It's not super important for this set because I'm actually going to be putting glitters on top of it and it's going to get covered up anyway, but I was just kind of playing around because to me I just don't get the whole cat eye hype. Like, it's cool and it's funky and it's like weird that you're putting magnets and it does this whole thing, but I just don't feel like the effect is like as cool. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I just don't know how to use it properly. But let me know, like, what do you like cat eyes? Do you find them to be super interesting? Let me know down below how you use them. Maybe I'm just not using them in the right way. So anyway, moving on, here are all of the glitters and just fun little things that I want to put on my nails. I started with putting some base gel on and leaving that wet so I can just use that as a sticky layer and throw all of my glitters on. Now I'm using a sponge to kind of press down the glitters so that they're not popping up all over the place. This is going to be encapsulated nails, but trying to keep everything as thin as possible will be easiest when it comes to filing. You don't want anything to be too bulky. So I zoomed in a bit so you can see a little bit better, and there isn't really much to it. I'm just kind of like throwing in everything. The way I described these nails, it might sound a little vulgar, but I wanted it to look like autumn threw up on my nails. I know that's a bit like much, so maybe you can just call it like an autumn explosion, but I really just wanted it to be a mess of glitter, some leaves. I'm throwing in a few of these flowers here that I thought would just add a little bit of interest. I'm really just going nuts with it. I had no plan. Usually I go in with some sort of plan when I am doing my nails. I usually have like a bit of a sketchbook that I go in and I sketch a design, and I don't usually make it like way too detailed or anything like that. And I usually oftentimes like change things along as I'm doing my nail set, but I just usually have some sort of guide to keep me focused. I can't normally just pull out a design from my brain and just be like, sit down with no plan and just create some sort of design. That's not how my brain works. I usually need to go in with some sort of game plan, and then it's fine if I change things up along the way, but at least I have a starting point, you know? But for this one, I really just, my only plan was the colors, like the glitters and the leaves obviously was like perfect for autumn, and I've been waiting all year to use them. I keep looking at them in my drawer and I'm like, I'm gonna get to you soon, and I finally did it in this set. And I had no real plan. I just put everything out in front of me and I just threw everything on. And it looks messy now. When it comes to encapsulated nails, especially when you're doing a lot of things, like a lot of glitter and a lot of bulky leaves like these were quite bulky, and it just looked bad until I finished it. And encapsulated nails are very much a trust the process kind of design because it looks messy before you're done. It looks worse before it looks better. I'll be honest, after doing that second nail over there on my ring finger, I was starting to contemplate if I wanted to start over from scratch. I was like, I don't like how this is looking. It's not what I had in mind. It just looks like a mess. And I was honestly and truly thinking of just removing the whole thing and starting over. But something in my brain was like, no, give it a chance. Give it a chance. You never know. It always looks different at the end. And I am so happy with how these came out. So I would definitely just let you know that if you're doing encapsulated nails or something messy with glitter and it just looks messy and you're wondering if this was the right move, give it a chance, because once you have everything done, once the encapsulated layer goes over it and it really encases the whole design and gives it depth and dimension, and once everything is shaped properly and you have your top coat that just gives it all the dimension, it really brings the whole thing to life. So It's scary because it kind of looks like a mess, but it's worth it. And if you're unsure, just keep going. Worst case, you can always, you know, do something different if you really, really hate it, but it's definitely worth a shot to give it a go, because encapsulated nails just always look gorgeous, especially when you're doing multiple layers and different glitters, and everything just shines and looks like a dream when it's done. So trust the process. It'll come together in the end, I promise. And I was actually struggling a bit with my tools here and some of the things sticking. I think the base coat that I used was just not sticky enough. I think I'm running low on it. I just wasn't getting a lot of product out when I was using it, so I was having a hard time with like picking stuff up and things, but it all worked out in the end. And oh my gosh, while I'm here just like talking, because this is kind of like, you know, nails, just this set is kind of whatever, there's not really too much detail, it's just throwing a bunch of glitter at my nails and loving it. This video took me forever to edit, and it was because for some reason my editing software that I use, it's not a fancy one. I use a very cheap basic app that I found on the Microsoft Windows Store, because I like some of those really expensive editing programs that you have to pay for. They look so complicated to me. I don't know, like there's too many things going on, and I'm just not a techie person. I mean, I'm 23, but when it comes to technology, I'm like a dinosaur, okay? I don't know how this stuff works, and if it's too complicated, I just don't know how to use it. And for some reason, my editing software kept telling me that my files for this video was corrupted. It was like trying to export the video, and it would get to like 15, 20, 30% downloaded, and then all of a sudden it said error, and I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know what the problem was, and I thought maybe like the files were corrupted, so I went in and just opened the files individually in like a regular media player, and they were working fine. So I'm like, what are you saying? I tried downloading it like 6 times in one day. I was getting so frustrated, and I was like thinking that after all of this, after everything, like the whole nail set, and after even thinking about scrapping the nail set itself, all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, do I have to scrap this whole video? And I had it planned, and I wanted to do it, and I love how the end result came out, so I really wanted to share it, and it was just not downloading it. And I tried deleting certain files that I thought might be the issue. It was just not working, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think something's up. And then I took like a couple of days off because I was just like annoyed and didn't want to look at it anymore. And then I decided, you know what, let me just delete everything and start from scratch. So I deleted all of like the proxy files that get uploaded into the system, into the app that I use for editing, and I deleted all of my editing process and everything, and I just got rid of it all, and I decided to start from scratch. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to download this one more time, and if it doesn't work, I'm done. That's it. This video is scrapped, and that's just the end of it. And it started downloading, and I was like not looking at it, you know, like don't look at it, don't let it know you're looking. If you ignore it, it'll just go by itself. And at 13%, it said error, and I was like, no, I'm done. I tried this like 10 times, and it's just not working. And I said, you know what? One more time, just once, because like I just didn't want to scrap this video. So I did it one more time, and oh, praise the Lord, it downloaded. So that was just my whole crazy story of this nail set. So I hope you enjoyed it and everything, because it was a journey from start to finish. It was a whole journey. So anyway, after that story, I am going in with my encapsulation layer. So I'm just using a clear hard gel. This is from Morovan. It's the same one that I used for my nail extensions. It's just in clear. And I am doing the entire structure of the nail with the apex and everything, and encapsulating all of the glitter and the leaves in the set. So I'm doing a slip layer, and then putting a larger blob of gel over it to create the apex, holding my hand upside down for a few seconds to get a nice apex. And here is what they look like after coming straight out of the lamp and being wiped off from the sticky layer. And now I'm going to go in and just perfect the filing, because there were quite a few lumps and bumps because all the stuff that I put on my nails, the glitters and the leaves and the flowers and everything, did add a bit of bulk. You can see over here on this finger, I actually got an air bubble that I kind of filed through, but that's okay. As soon as I'm finished with the filing, I'll go back in with the clear hard gel and just fill that in. So I'm just smoothing out the whole nail and making sure everything is smooth and even, and nice and, you know, a nice shape for the nails, and making sure it's not too thin but also not too thick, and trying my best not to actually file through the nails. That's one of the things that I always get so nervous about with encapsulating. Sometimes I'm like, oh no, what if I accidentally file through the design? And I've done that a few times here and there. So when it comes to encapsulating, I definitely put more gel than I need to in the encapsulation layer, just because I can be a bit overzealous with my filing and I could go a little bit ham sometimes. So I definitely put in a bit more gel than probably is required or necessary, because I'd rather just be safe than sorry. The last thing I want is to file through my whole design after going through everything. So I like using a sanding band. Some people like using a bit of a more heavy duty bit, and you can definitely if you want to, but like I said, I prefer using something a little bit more gentle so I don't file through my whole design in 3 seconds. I like going in with a hand file to then perfect the shape, perfect the sides. I can go crazy, like I said, with the e-file sometimes, so at least with a hand file I do have a bit more control. So I am filing down the sides of the nails to create my nice coffin shape that I prefer to wear. And I'm also filing under the nail, because now that the encapsulation layer is over the whole nail and has provided the structure, I can actually remove some of the extension from the bottom to make a thinner nail, because the strength of the nail is there and it's intact. And we always want, you know, a thin nail. We don't want anything too bulky. So making sure to always file from the bottom, from the sides, and then determining the shape and going over a few more times, because I can be a bit picky, and constantly checking to see how things go. Finally, after removing the dust, I'm going in with the top coat, and at this moment, I knew that everything was gonna be okay with this nail set. I was enthralled by the magic that these nails gave. There was just all of a sudden, it was just, it was like an autumn forest dream. It looked like a pile of leaves that I would want to jump into. If there were piles of leaves in a fairy tale world, they would look like this. They would look like this. It was such a beautiful set. I am so happy with the end result. Everything just came out so magical in the end. This whole nail set was a journey from start to finish, and here finally I am here doing the voiceover, and it feels so good to have this done and watching this back and just seeing the whole thing come together. It's really so stunning. Look how beautiful they just I can't get over it. This is why I tried so hard and like tried re-exporting the video hundreds of times, because I knew I couldn't let it go. It was just too beautiful not to share. So I really hope you love this nail set as much as I do, because it was a journey and a half to get here, but we are finally here. It looks like I have an explosion of autumn on my nails. I'm still currently wearing them as I'm doing this voiceover, and I'm still obsessed. I love the way they glitter and shine. It was just a great set, and I'm happy I followed through with it all the way to the end. So let me know what you think of these nails down below. Let me know what you want to see next on my channel, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!